Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We have a very special video today covering train stations from New Zealand's two largest cities, Auckland and Wellington. Before we begin this video, I would like to mention that my knowledge of New Zealand's rail networks is not as great as of Melbourne's, so I apologize if I make a few mistakes with this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Urukai Station is located on Auckland's Eastern Line, and it's the first stop on the line after leaving Britomart, Auckland's central train station. With this being the case, you'd expect the station to be very busy, but instead, it was pretty quiet. This is likely due to the fact that the station is located on what could be described as a small island, situated in the middle of the very beautiful Hobson Bay. The train line travels along this small embankment, cutting the bay in two, and providing for some excellent views. The section east of the station also includes a popular walking and cycling path. The station itself is an island platform with a small shelter. There's this strange pedestrian overpass which is the only way to access the station. While walking along it, the timber felt very uneven and it generally felt pretty unsafe, although I doubt that's actually the case. There's a big car park to the north of the station, and given its location, it makes sense that driving would be the preferred way of getting here. It's very strange that the station has these attributes given its proximity to the city centre, being just a single stop away, and it's an interesting result of Auckland's unique geography. Ngauronga Station is a very unique station located just a couple meters from the sea, right next to Wellington Harbour. On the other side, the station is right next to the Wellington motorway. This gives it a pretty isolated and drab feeling, and also means that not many people use it, despite having better frequencies than most other stations in Wellington. The environment around the station, apart from, the ocean, is pretty much a concrete jungle, with the entrance to the station being through this underpass, which features this unique lighting with a cool pattern. You are then greeted by some beautiful scenery. You then need to walk along this small footpath right next to the freeway ramp, before you reach the great suburb of Ngauronga. Population 39. The station itself is again an island platform, with even smaller shelters. Similarly to Urukai, this station is the first stop after leaving Wellington Station, although in this case it wasn't always this way. Originally, a station called Kaiwharawhara was located before this one on the line. However, in 2013, the station was deemed totally unsafe, and so instead of upgrading it, it was decided that the only solution was to close it entirely. Not looking good for Wellington here. This left Ngauronga as the only station along this stretch of line, putting you just a couple meters from the water's edge, separated only by a few rocks. It makes Ngauronga a very pleasant place to wait, and a very interesting station. Okay, I'm kind of cheating here, since Wellington's cable car is not a train, but instead a funicular. However, a lot of the stations are quite interesting, so I thought it was worth including on the list. Talavera is in the middle of the funicula's 5 stations, and is also the only one with 2 platforms. The way funiculars operate means that both of the 2 carriages will always arrive here at the same time, and if one of them stops, it means the other has to as well, even if no one is waiting at the platform. Both sides have 2 mini platforms that align with the cable car doors when arriving at the station. To get between the platforms, there's this little overpass. A strange aspect of this station's operation is that carriages will sometimes use the wrong side of the platform by keeping right instead of left, like they do in America or Europe. This caught me off guard the first time, as there was no indication that this would be the case. Despite having 2 platforms, The station only has one entrance, on the eastern side, via this long ramp down to street level. I used the cable car many times during my stay in Wellington, but never once did I see anyone use this station. The truth is that the majority of those using the Wellington cable car are tourists taking the trip up to the Botanic Gardens. And while the cable car does have some practical use as public transport, providing access to residents who live nearby the intermediate stations, as well as Victoria University's Kelburn campus, they're definitely the minority rather than the norm, and clearly locals don't really use it that much. Penrose Station is located on the Southern and Onehunga lines, serving as the junction between the two lines. Despite this, both lines use different platforms, with the Southern Line using platforms 1 and 2 for north and southbound trains, and the single-track Onehunga Line using platform 3 for all services. The thing is, platform 3 is located a 2.5-minute walk from platforms 1 and 2, and requires going up this long ramp, right across this footbridge, then left to go down this ramp, before you finally reach the third platform. This is a very strange arrangement that makes making tight connections practically impossible, and if you did need to change lines here, Ellerslie is a much better station to do it if you have the option. The Southern Line's platforms are yet again an island, with a station building and seating. The Onehunga Line platform is a lot more basic, but at the very least it still has a place to sit. The eastern entrance onto Great South Road can be accessed across the footbridge, and contains a big gravel parking lot as well as a bus stop. There are actually two entrances on the Onehunga side. One involves heading up these stairs, which takes you directly to the footbridge, and the other one takes you directly to platform 3. Overall, Penrose is a very strange station with how far apart its platforms are, and it will be interesting to see if this problem is ever addressed in the future. Waterloo Station is located on the Upper Hutt Line in Wellington, and was rebuilt in 1988 with the goal of better interchanges between bus services. A series of bus bays was built at the southern side of the station for this purpose, although I didn't see any buses here while I was there. The station is covered with this strange tiling pattern, everywhere from the entrances to the platforms. The northern entrance contains a smaller bus interchange, including a taxi rank. I'm not sure if this is common in New Zealand, but this is something you'd never find at a station like this in Australia. As well as, strangely, the Potter's House Christian Fellowship Church. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to have a church inside of a train station, but I digress. In order to get between platforms, you take this underpass. It has stairs to take you to both sides of the station, as well as another exit onto Trafalgar Square, which involves heading through this passageway with a glass dome, before emerging right outside. There's even another exit on the other side of Trafalgar Square. Also on the southern side is a bicycle parking facility and a car park. The station has this giant grey roof on top of it, which really doesn't help the atmosphere, and from what I could tell, it's a pretty busy station, which makes sense due to its proximity to the Lower Hutt Central activity area. There are actually plans to do yet another rebuild of the station in the future, so it'll be interesting to see if this ever goes ahead. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and thanks to my channel members for supporting my channel. And with that said, I'll see you back in Melbourne for the next one.